Made in Manhattan.
Iconic.
That's my film. And I don't know how it didn't come to me sooner.
Well, sometimes you need a nudge, which is why I have the list.
Yeah, true. See, I probably saw it as more of a perfect piece of cinematography than a rom-com.
Okay.
Do you know? So
but it is very much a rom-com.
Yeah, no, it is, absolutely.
So I'm stunned that we haven't got to Jennifer Lopez yet.
She's
icon of the genre.
To me, she is a rom-com queen.
Yeah.
And people will say it's Julia Roberts or it's whoever. It's
Sandra Bullock. There's a good few queens.
She's not the world's most amazing actor.
Do you know what? I think this is her best role.
But she does a rom-com
She's good in this.
extremely well.
Yeah. This and Hustlers. I'm like, she can actually act.
Hustlers is amazing. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. No, and I was rewatching it and I was like, I'm actually believing it. Like,
slightly different vibe.
Yeah,
slightly
different.
But iconic. We
so
also,
good.
this is nearly the end of season 2 and we haven't done a Reese Witherspoon yet.
Oh.
Reese Witherspoon lovers, call me because we need to discuss.
I think people maybe forgot that she
Sweet Home Alabama
did rom-coms because she's kind of pivoted into more
Home
serious
Again
roles.
Oh, she's done a few. Yeah. She has done a few. So, Maid in Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
I have written her best underlined.
Agreed.
It is her best.
Yeah.
2002, directed by a guy called Wayne Wang.
Mm-hmm.
Written by Kevin Wade. This guy wrote the iconic Working Girl.
Oh.
Junior, where Arnold Schwarzenegger is pregnant. Terribly good film. This guy. He also wrote Meet Joe Black, which is my mother-in-law's favourite rom-com of all time. It's dreadful. He's death. Brad Pitt is death.
Yeah, it only came up on my TikTok like 2 or 3 days ago.
And he has
doing the Rastafarian
hair.
accent.
Oh my
and I'm
God,
like, oh,
he's doing the
Rastafarian.
Rastafarian.
Are you okay?
He's speaking patois.
But he kind of pulls it off.
I mean, he didn't get cancelled at the
Exactly.
time. He has the hair in that film that Gwyneth Paltrow has in Sliding Doors, which we just discussed. So there you go.
Beautiful.
90s. So that was Kevin Wade. But the story was not Kevin Wade's. The story came from John Hughes of The Breakfast Club and Home Alone fame. Oh. Very iconic 80s writer. But he wanted to make the film with Hilary Swank and he wanted it to be quite serious. So when that didn't quite pan out, because the studio was like, no, we want this to be a rom-com, he was like, right, don't put my real name on it.
Because he was Morto or what?
Morto, yeah. Oh. So on it, the credit is story by Edmund Dantes. That is John Hughes' pseudonym.
Why did he pick that?
I don't know.
I kind of like it though.
It's a bit Spanish.
Bit of flair, yeah, I like it.
So it is loosely based on a true story. Did you know this? One of the Rockefellers married a Norwegian maid who worked in one of his family's hotels. So I was like, brilliant. This is a great idea.
Yeah.
But they divorced 10 years later. So probably
Sorry.
wasn't great.
No. 10 years is enough.
I mean, was he just defying the family? I mean, 10 years is a good go. She probably got some money in the divorce, so that's good. So yeah, I just found that hilarious that he just was so scarlet. He was like,
I'm not involved in this project.
Edmund Dantes, not me.
No,
Not me.
No, never.
So Jennifer Lopez was cast. That's the studio's choice. At this point, she's a famous movie and pop star.
I feel like this is like, she was in her peak at this time.
This is Jenny from the Block time.
Like, she had 2 albums out that year.
She was with Ben Affleck at this point.
She's just on The Wedding Planner, if I'm not wrong.
The Wedding Planner was a couple of years before.
Okay, yeah.
But she just brought out the remix album of
Which,
Jenny from the Block with Ja Rule. Chef's Kiss.
If my research is correct, that's the first remix album to go to #1 in the Billboard.
Oh,
yeah.
See, you get the music side of things.
Because no one really cares about remix albums.
That was like, it was so good because they completely changed the songs.
Yeah, completely. It was like a whole new album.
A completely new album,
and
especially, you know, Ain't It Funny? That was 2 completely different songs.
Completely
what
different.
a fucking gal J-Lo is. We just love her. So she is famous at this point. She hasn't done Jiggly yet, or Geely, however you pronounce it, with Ben. So, you know, they're together, but they haven't done that yet. She had been in Out of Sight with George Clooney, sexy, and The Wedding Planner with Matthew McConaughey at this point. Rafe Fiennes, who I just want to call Ralph so badly. Do you know this pronunciation thing? Do you know that the British pronounce the word lieutenant as lieutenant?
Weirdos.
And colonel as colonel.
Colonel is colonel though, right?
Yeah, but it's spelled colonel.
Yeah. Does that come from German?
Probably.
Maybe not.
I'm just blaming
made that up.
the English.
Yeah, fair. As we all should.
Even now, he was at the Oscars and everyone was just ripping the piss out of him about his name, like, which is very funny to me, right? Ralph. Yeah. I don't know if you ever read Judy Blume as a youngster.
I think I may have.
There's a book called Forever by Judy Blume. Mm-hmm. My mum had me reading, like, you know, the Fudge books and like Deanie and Tiger Eyes, like the young ones. Fudge or Forever was her adult book. Well, it wasn't adult. It was late teen.
Okay, yeah.
And it was about teenagers having sex. So I read this when I was like 12 and I was bad into it. Maybe even younger. Maybe I was 10. Who knows?
Better.
But the penis was called Ralph. That was the nickname for the penis. Very bad name. But I have never been able to hear the name Ralph without thinking of penis. So I'm actually happy that Rafe Fiennes pronounced it Rafe Fiennes.
Yeah, and I think he pulls it off.
He does pull it off.
Yeah.
It's very funny though. There you go.
Not that
you learn something new every day. Every day's a good day.
It is.
Ralph is a penis in my world. So this was perhaps the most bizarre casting of all time. He's the most unlikely rom-com hero ever. He had been in Schindler's List, in which he plays a villainous Nazi.
Yeah.
Did he win an Oscar for that? Should have. He was in The English Patient, which is very serious. It was romantic, but very serious.
A drama.
Very serious. He played Heathcliff in Wuthering Heights. Maybe he needed the money.
What a pivot.
Who knows?
Although maybe they were like, let's try a different angle and see.
Maybe they were like, do you want to be in a film with J-Lo? And he was like, yeah.
See, that's my thing. I was like, if I were Ray Fiennes, I'd be like, I get a shift J-Lo and I get a fat paycheck. Yeah, I'm doing it.
And I'm going to get women fancying me for once. I mean, now, he is actually a gas bitch. You're a housewives one, aren't you? A little bit.
Former, yeah.
Former?
Yeah.
You don't give it up.
I know. I think I went too hard.
Okay,
during COVID.
I can relate. Darren said the same thing.
I'd say I was doing 8 episodes a day.
Oh, easy. See, I still do that because I'm a writer now.
It's research.
So when I take breaks, I will watch Summer House for 6 hours.
And you kind of need something that's not too mentally stimulating.
Switch off your brain.
Absolutely.
Well, Rafe loves Bravo. So he loves it. He goes on Watch What Happens Live. He like acts out housewife scenes. He did a very iconic scene from Salt Lake City recently. He's a gas bitch.
Okay.
So I just feel like, he's just doing this for the laugh. But he would go on to become Lord Voldemort. Obviously.
And therein lies the sexual confusion for me when I watch Maid in Manhattan, because his teeth are his.
Yes.
They're Voldemort's
and they
teeth.
look like they'd bite you.
But I'm like,
we were just having this conversation off camera.
What's happening? Why do I fancy Voldemort?
I know. Like, at least he has a nose in this. Now,
that's kind of
do you know what? They could have made Voldemort uglier. I'm just going to say that.
Honestly,
straight off the bat.
Agreed.
He's tall. He's got a nice figure. He has no nose. And
his tongue splits in two. Thought about it.
You've thought about it. See, that's why we're friends.
Yeah.
Thank you. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed. He's just played a dastardly cardinal in Conclave as well.
Which I haven't seen yet.
I haven't seen it yet either, but I'm living for it because the Tooch is in it as well. The Tooch is also in this.
And he's so good in it.
Stanley Tucci. Now, this is his era where he's just like a working actor where he's just popping up everywhere.
He's everyone's sidekick.
This is before he was the Tooch, who's now a sex symbol and makes cocktails on the internet. Yeah. So at this point, he'd been in like a string of hits: Road to Perdition, The Core, America's Sweethearts. Great rom-com, doing it for season 3. Someone come on and talk to me about that. Mm-hmm. Julia Roberts, Catherine Zeta-Jones, John Cusack,
what a cast.
Tooch, iconic. He was not yet a household name. That would come much later. Wow. The other famous person in it is poor Natasha Richardson, R.I.P.
And when I was rewatching this last night,
icon.
She's so good in this film.
Well, she comes from Caliber.
Technically, she's the villain. Yeah, but you love her.
Adore her.
She makes her so lovable.
So her mother is Vanessa Redgrave, like proper Shakespearean thesp.
Yeah.
And she comes from acting stock.
Proper.
So she just does films that she has a laugh with.
For fun.
So Parent Trap, fucking fabulous in that. Yeah. Echoing Princess Diana. Another tragic blonde. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So Natasha would die 7 years later in a freak skiing accident. She was
awful.
Liam Neeson's wife. And she was known for the original adaptation of The Handmaid's Tale.
Yes, I watched that in college when I was supposed to read the book.
Yes,
and I said, I'm not going to read the novel, I'll just watch the film.
So you're absolutely right. She is the villain in this, but she's brilliant. You're kind of rooting for her.
You're just like, I can't hate you. I'm supposed to, but I can't.
She's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So the story. Marissa is a busy working single mom. Mm-hmm. She is very Jetty from the block in this. She's in the Bronx. Yep. She wants to talk about the housing projects a lot because she's very suspicious of the white man trying to help, with, just to get the glory.
Sure.
She has her like baby hairs gelled down. Yeah. She's wearing the hoops. Consistently with a low pony as well, which is a choice. I'd never go for a low pony.
Oh God, I would never cross my mind.
It would be so like, for me, it's very Tala circa 1997, which is where I hail from.
Gotcha.
So if I wore a low pony, I would feel like I was going to the Kilnamana disco once again. Do you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So she is working as a maid in Manhattan.
Oh, how do they do it?
In a swanky 5-star hotel. Yes. And the exterior is the Waldorf. Used in many films, from The Godfather to Serendipity to Coming to America. It's been around.
Okay.
The inside is a soundstage. Yeah. So that's not the same. But she's not your average maid. She has aspirations and ambitions. She wants to be a manager.
She does.
God bless her.
And she's great at it.
Well, I mean, once you become a manager, you realise it's not a fun place to be.
No.
So,
too much responsibility.
Watch yourself there, Marissa. So she's encouraged by her friends to go for it because they're like, we don't want to, but you should go for it.
Go for it.
She's a single mom to a bit of a savant, I feel this child is, Ty.
So I remember I was 10 when this film came out.
Okay.
So I was in around the same age as Ty. Sorry. And I was like...
You're the same age as Ty?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was like...
Did you fancy him as a child?
I really fancied him. So now that I'm older, it's Rafe that I fancy.
Well, but that kid grew up to be a hottie. He was in Teen Wolf.
He is breathtaking.
He's gorgeous.
He's gorgeous. So I remember watching it being like, I fancy him.
I fancied Aladdin as a child, the cartoon.
Yeah, I can get on board with that.
See?
Yeah.
Boys think that's weird, but girls did.
No, I fancied a lot of cartoons.
Yeah, I fancied Simba.
Kovu from The Lion King 2.
Oh, I've never seen The Lion King 2.
Kovu from
What type
The
of
Lion
animal
King
is Kovu?
2, Simba's pride.
Is he a lion?
He's Scar's nephew.
Ooh, evil.
So, is he not? He's the most stunning greeny yellow eyes I've ever seen.
Do boys fancy cartoon characters? Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shane's nodding. Yeah?
Yeah.
Paddy looks confused. I don't know whether it's a girl thing or not, but there you go. So you fancy Ty? Okay, interesting. So he's very clever and he's obsessed with the 1970s.
Yeah,
which I kind of love because I was a weird child like that.
Okay, fair.
But he's like reading Henry Kissinger's biography and he's like listening to Bread.
He's gifted.
Yeah, he's a gifted child. And Marissa is actually reading a book on the subway about on the 6. Reading a book about having a gifted child when you yourself are not gifted. Which must be really annoying actually.
He's so clever and lovely.
He's so clever and into politics. So he recognises Chris
Marshall,
played by Rafe Ralph, and he's a candidate for Senate.
Yeah, he's potentially going to be senator.
Yes,
I think at the start of the
he's
film.
like, oh, he's an assemblyman, which I don't know what that is. And the whole way through The Wire, I didn't know what an assemblyman was.
Like a TD.
I think like a councillor. I think like a county councillor.
Don't know what that is, but cool.
But I remember politics. It didn't ruin my enjoyment of The Wire either, not knowing. It's like,
you figured it out.
Yeah. So he recognises him and he's like, oh, you're Chris Marshall. And Chris is kind of a playboy. He's like
a crack.
Yeah, his dad was the governor, so he's kind of well known. He has model girlfriends. Like he's a bit of a sexy guy. Stanley Tucci basically is just running around trying to keep him on track all the time because he has a large brown Weimaraner dog called Rufus, who he just tends to like run off with.
Just
basically.
do his own thing.